Welcome to Deep Thought. Who is the master? You know what? In this channel, it's all about thinking. And that's when I'll come up with something. I could be just watching something minor or have an experience, have a decent dream and say, you know what, let me talk about that. Check it out. I was like on YouTube, other than my stuff, I might check out a couple specific content creators or just some random stuff and then get on and do the other stuff I have to do during the day. Every now and then I check out this clip from this classic movie, The Last Dragon. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon came out in 1985. And I don't check out the whole movie. It's kind of hokey in some ways, to be honest. Even though I still call it a classic, it's like one of those movies. One of those movies people remember. It had this newcomer named Ty Mack. It had the former protege for Prince, Vanity. And I remember seeing it. I remember like all the guys who went to see it, they weren't even going to see the martial arts. They were going to check out Vanity. They were just sitting up there. They were like, yeah, look at Vanity. Yeah. They don't even know what else was going on. But anyway, the premise of that movie was Ty Mack playing this guy named Leroy. And because he was in martial arts, and people would call him Bruce Leroy. And he had went as far as he could in his training. And his master said, well, I don't have anything else to teach you. He said, Ty Mack or Bruce Leroy was like, well, you got to have something. And then the master looked at him and said, okay, well, you got to find the master. And, and the movie was about him finding the master and everything, about him finding the master. And, it was a whole bunch of stuff. And then it was the big fight clip, And I'm putting a link to that in the description box. I'm putting a link to that classic clip. And he was fighting this guy called Show Nuff. And he was like, he's a brother Shogun in Harlem. He was a Shogun of Harlem. And, they fighting and stuff, and Show Nuff wanted Bruce Leroy to acknowledge Show Nuff as the master. And he kept saying it. And, he got to a point. It was one of my all-time favorite scenes in the movie. And, Show Nuff was like at one point dunking Bruce Leroy's head into what? Say, who is the master? And then Bruce Leroy's having these flashbacks, and then he realized who the master was. So the final time, Show Nuff was like, who is the master? And Bruce Leroy looked at him nice and strong and said, I am. And then, proceeded to kick Show Nuff's ass. The clip is in the description box. And I thought about that. I said, that's deep. And, the lesson there is the master is within you. Within you. Now, when we say master, don't think of it as you mastered some craft or you this great person, you can levitate, you got a golden glow, all that. When I talk about who is the master, it's basically instead of looking outside of yourself for something, you look within. Everything is already within you. Who you are, what you can do in life, your success in life ain't outside of you. Let me say it again, it's not outside of you. It's within you. Let me share something because, like I said, I'm climbing up the mountain with y'all. Now, I'm doing all this stuff now and having all this money. I remember when it was a master. In fact, I've mentioned it before, Master Yao. And he didn't tell me what I needed to do, but he said, I see if you deal with certain things, watch out for you. Now, he didn't tell me exactly what, but see, as a master, a true master, they don't just hand feed you stuff. What they do is bring out stuff within you. In fact, that's how education is supposed to be. They're not just supposed to give you something, give you some information, and then you regurgitate that information back to them. Like I remember in college, and this was one of my favorite teachers. And I was wrote the essay, test and everything. And I basically gave him word for word what he had written to me and what he had written in his book on a test. I got an A. And that's what a lot of people do, on tests, or they regurgitate something, or they look outside themselves instead of looking within themselves. Now, Master Yao, he didn't tell me what I needed to do. He might throw a clue here and there, but I had to find something within myself in order to get to where I am now. And as I keep rising now, I had to find it. And it was like, damn, it was there all along. I look back and I say, you know what? Everything I'm doing now, what I'm doing now, I could have did back when I was a teenager. And I already had it. I look back and I had the stuff really going back to grade school. I look back at it, but it was always there. But I didn't focus on it. I focused on outside of myself. People say, hey, you're real smart. This is what you should be doing for a living. These are classes, and that's what I did. I looked for the master outside of myself, but instead of looking within. And that's every one of you. And when I say master, it's being the master of your life. Every single one of y'all listening to this got a talent. Every single one of y'all. There's no exceptions. I don't care. Look, don't get caught up in what you look like. Don't get caught up. If you're a man, don't get caught up. You don't look, like some tall fashion model. If you're a woman, don't get caught up. You don't look like one of these IG models. Every single one of y'all got something special. You got a talent within. Like when I look at my sons, I already see their talents. And all I do, I don't tell them what to do. All I do is create an environment for them to bring out the talents, and I nurture the talents. And every now and then, not my oldest son, my youngest son, shoot. He might be he might be a millionaire by the time he's 30, to be honest. And the oldest, I give him I shoot a clue, or I just say, hey, I see you like that. And just nice and calm. But I still let them find within. See, if you want to do something, I don't care what it is. The outside world really ain't stopping you. It's you. When I talk to most people about anything, and I mean beyond getting a woman, You sit down and talk to them, they always say, well, I'm this and I'm that. Why I can't do this, why I can't do that. They say they that. I said, did anybody tell you couldn't? Did people tell you couldn't do that? You know your talent. You the master. Who is the master? You are. You are the master of your life. There are no exceptions to this. Every single individual that's listening to this, understand that. All right? Every single individual. There are no exceptions. There are no exceptions to that rule. Who is the master? I want you to look in the mirror and say, who is the master? I am. And say that proudly. All right? You are the master. Think on this. Peace and blessings.